Hi, this is the video for question 2A on capital gains tax. Now, this table, I think is fairly straightforward, but you just have to work through it in a methodical process, line by line, and work through it. Otherwise, you will lose track and you will be overcomplicating things for yourselves. So, the first person that we've got to look at is person A. The first thing we have to notice is their taxable income is over 50,000. Therefore, and taxable income means the personal allowance has been taken off of it. This person obviously earns 75,500. Taxable income is income minus personal allowance. So 63,000, that means they have used up all of their basic rate. So any gains will be at the higher rate, and they have other gains of 15,000. They have a personal allowance for capital gains tax of 12,300. Means their taxable gains is 2,700. It is all at the higher rate. So they have a £540 liability for capital gains tax. That one is very straightforward. Some more may not be. Next, person B. Again, their earnings after personal allowance are over 50,000, so we're only talking about the higher rates of tax. And this person has entrepreneurs relief gains. So the entrepreneurs relief is the only gain they have. So again, 15,000 minus 12,300 equals 2,700. But entrepreneurs relief means they only pay 10% tax. So the only difference there is entrepreneurs relief means 10%. Even though they've used up their basic rate, entrepreneurs relief will still be 10%. There's a lifetime cap on what you can claim on entrepreneurs relief of £1 million. I'm guessing they've not reached it. We move on. Person C. Now each one of these gets slightly more technical. The first thing to notice, person C earns over 50,000 taxable income, therefore we're only talking about higher rates again. You can choose to take your personal allowance off of whatever gains you wish. So what you do here is you make sure your personal allowance comes off the column which is going to pay at the highest rate. This person has entrepreneurs relief, which is always going to be 10%, and they have residential property, which is either 18 or 28, so it's always going to be higher. So we're going to take the personal allowance off of the residential property gains. So 19,000 minus 12,300 equals 6,700. That will be at 28%. And they also have 29,000 at entrepreneurs relief of 10%. And that is what they will end up paying. And that comes to 4,776. So this is where tax planning comes in, because if we'd have taken the personal allowance off of the entrepreneurs relief, we would have had 19,000 at 28% and 17,000 at 10, and this would have been way higher. So this is where we start thinking about what we're going to relieve our personal allowances against in order to save us the most tax. Now, person D, they have earnings of 50,000, therefore we're only talking about the higher rates. They have some entrepreneurs relief, they have some other gains, and they have some losses. So the losses, again, we can put against whatever we want. So the other gains will be at 10 or 20%, 20 because we're over the basic rate. So we will put it against those first. So we have 8,000 of other gains. We will minus the losses off of that. We have 6,250 of other gains. Our personal allowance is 12,300. So we can reduce this to 0 and still have 6,050 left. So we then have our entrepreneurs relief . So these two together make up the 12,300. Once we've reduced one type to 0, we move on to the next. And we have 13,000 950 I'm just looking at that, I think I've spotted an error in the answer. Yes, that's correct. So here we had some losses. This was the highest one, we got it down to here. Then when we look at our personal allowance, the personal allowance is higher than that. So we can take this to 0 and then whatever we haven't used, use against the other one. Next, person E, they are below 50,000. Therefore, we're talking low tax rates now. So there is a basic rate available. So the basic rate is 37,500. A basic rate which is not used. Then we look at the gains. We have residential property gains, 15,000 minus the personal allowance gives us 2,700. That is less than 4,500. So all of these gains will be in the lower rate. So we're now able to say all of those will be at 18%. Meaning the tax is 486. Person F, again, they are below basic rate. Minus 35. So there is 2,500 of basic rate left. They have other gains of 22,000. They have losses of 1,600. And a personal allowance of 12,300. So the chargeable gains they have is 8,100. 2,500 of it can be at the lower rate. So we then have 2,500 times, and its other gains, 10%, and the additional 5,600 is times 20%. So that's the amount that's due there. Now these are getting slightly more technical, but it is just a case of working through them in order. One tip that I have is in the question above the columns to write the rates. So this one is always 10, this one is 18 or 28, this one is 10 or 20. Then that helps you decide, where do I use the losses? Where do I use the personal allowance to gain the most effect? It gives you the direction where to go to first, and you can cross them out and figure out exactly what you've got left. Now the final one, person G. First thing to note, they are below the basic rate. So we have 37,500 minus 27,000 equals 10,500 of basic rate remaining. That's the first thing to note. Then, the highest rate, the 18 to 28, that's where we're going to use our losses and our personal allowances. So we have 18,000 minus our losses of 2,000 minus our personal allowance of 12,300 means we have 3,700 of those gains that are taxable. 3,700 is less than 10,500, So that will all be at 18%. Next, we're going to move to, sorry, I've missed a step. I'm going to go back. Entrepreneur's relief of 7,000 will always be at 10%. But that 7,000 uses up this. So we only have 3,500 left. This is to show you that these videos aren't edited. So 3,500 there and 200 times 28. So we've got 7,000 at 10%, 3,500 at 18%, 200 at 28%, and the final lot of 10,000. There's no losses to use, there's no personal allowance to use, there's no base rate to use, so it is all at 20%. And when you calculate all of those and add them up, tax due is 3310. Now, that's a 21 mark question. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write in red next to the number how many marks there was for that one. So it was 2 for this one, 2 for this one, 3